most likely they're in.
Tua
I think they play
Tagovailoa.
Wake Forest. I mean, like the NFC schedules are unbelievable. Like it's no offense, Wake Forest.
Tua Tagovailoa belongs in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, man. Have you watched him? Like, no, I absolutely he belongs in it. Look, to me, it's like if you're voting today, who are you voting for, Mahomes? I don't even have to really think about it.
Yeah.
But if we're having a conversation, which is the question, right? If you're having, yes, I think you have to include him. I think you have to include Jalen Hurts. I think there's a number of guys, but Tua.
Where is he, Dan?
Where is he?
Dude, Jay.
Where is
Tua,
he?
second or third?
Second or third.
You know what? I'm going to answer your question.
Keep doing
No.
That's a simple question
I
to
have
ask.
I have an
Follow-up
answer
question.
because we had, and I got to look it up because we had to send in like our top
That's all,
10
no?
yesterday for a
That's all
thing
I
we're
wanna
doing
know.
for the, and I put him third behind Mahomes and Jalen Hurts.
So
There you go.
so would you last night with Jalen Hurts' play?
No, I
would
thought
you keep
Jalen Hurts played fine last night. They
that's
just
what I said. He
they only
played
had the
fine.
ball for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, he played fine.
Yeah.
I think Tua, I have him at 3. I think he's 3.
They haven't lost. They haven't lost yet.
Tua too. You could
You could
argue
argue
You got
because
100%.
Yeah.
You could.
They haven't lost a game that he's started and finished.
right. And by the way, the fact that he missed those games again, to me, you get extra credit for overcoming something that I was like,
Absolutely.
it's going to shorten his career,
Yeah.
if not the season, if not
Absolutely.
career, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys don't want to hear the rest of my top 10?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
I thought it was very
I thought I was
interesting.
going to hear
Let's hear it.
this just in.
No,
Have some
that's
hosts, 2 o'clock.
Yeah. Waiting for the full
Handsome.
plug.
4, Josh Allen. 5, Saquon. 6, Justin Jefferson. 7, Geno Smith. 8, Micah Parsons. 9, Tyreek Hill. 10, Lamar Jackson.
Good list.
That's fine.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't spend a ton of time on it, but when I sent it in, I
Put
was like, all right,
Parsons a
that's
little
all right.
higher, probably.
I will put Lamar a little
Last
higher
couple
too.
games.
Probably.
He's still
Last couple
But you're
games.
coming off a bye, though. Like, it's like,
Yeah, of
it's like
course,
out of sight, out of mind. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's the same way I feel about my rankings sometimes.
I wanted to put Justin Jefferson at 2.
I did. I remember my one to Kirk
Like,
Cousins.
I'm still trying to figure out, did Denver play yet? Right? I'm like,
Yeah, right, yeah.
It didn't look right.
I'm like, when is the Broncos going to play?
Denver's only
again?
played like 4 games this season somehow.
I was at the Broncos game Sunday, and I still, like, I'm with you. Like, did they play?
Yeah.
Like, where are they?
Right.
Seems like they just disappeared out of the NFL.
That's Dan Graziano, ESPN NFL Insider. You can see him
Free money.
later today on a terrific show. Handsome host, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Did you text crazy yet?
I
777
already got my money.
We can get more.
We want to hear from
I
you.
already texted.
Should Justin Fields be in the MVP conversation, as Dan Orlovsky said he should be?
Wait, I
if he
can't stay
continues
for that?
this. And by the way, if not MVP, most impressive player so far, considering what he's working with so far this season, that's coming up. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Progressive Insurance. We were asking earlier, Dan Orlovsky crazy for saying that Justin Fields has played himself. If he continues to play like this, he'd be an MVP conversation. 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Who's the most impressive player so far this season? Because Fields, if he keeps this up, would be, to me, among the most impressive, considering he's overcoming his surroundings. Very little around him. Dan Graziano, ESPN NFL Insider, with us now to play Overreaction, Not an Overreaction. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Max.
How are you?
I'm great. You guys gave me a whole bunch of money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you
should go try and spend that.
$2,500 right there.
Is that $2,500?
Yeah, all you have to do is text 777-000.
So glad
Winning
I
word
came
of the
in.
hour is crazy.
Is it?
It's easy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy,
I'll
easy,
come
the
back
whole
next
thing.
hour.
Crazy.
Well, you could just do
Give
it.
me the
Yeah,
$5,000.
you could do it next hour from the green room, just boom, real quick.
You
Just
do it
give
from
it-
right here on your phone. Your phone's right there.
I could text it, but
I'm
I already
gonna
got the
text
money.
it in. I'm
Like,
gonna
why would I don't need to?
why.
Just run out the studio.
Yeah,
There's security at the front door.
Dan, you ready to play Overreaction, Not an
I can
Overreaction?
outrun those guys.
777-0.
Yeah, I am. I'm ready to go.
Texting that right now.
So let's, as soon as we hear the music, I'm going to start to ask you
All right.
questions.
Yep.
Oh, I hear it
I hear
faintly
music.
coming in. All right, here it is. The Vikings are the biggest threat to the Eagles in the NFC. Overreaction, not an overreaction. Dan Graziano.
It's not an overreaction. I mean, they're right there. The Eagles beat them, right? But now you're one game away from passing them because of the loss last night. So I still think, and I know they had a bad week, but I still think the Cowboys prove out to be a better team than the Vikings. But you can't knock what they've done. They win all the time. 7 wins in a row, all by 1 score or less. But I don't know. That helps, right? Like you learn how to win, right? That's not nothing.
A win is a win is a win.
Yeah.
No matter how you get it, it's not an overreaction. I think there's a couple teams in the NFC that can kind of challenge the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, Dan, you mentioned the Dallas Cowboys, the Minnesota Vikings, the San Francisco 49ers. They all could challenge them for sure.
All right, slow key. I love the Niners, man. Like, I'm liking the Niners more and more. Key, you talked about
Everybody
yesterday the fact they had so many players coming back off injury. And CMC just adds a different dimension to their offense that it almost makes me feel better about Jimmy G down the stretch.
Yeah.
So far, the biggest threat to the Eagles has been the Commanders in the NFC. And by the way, do you know that there's no team under 500 in the NFC East now? Commanders are now 5-5. AFC East, there's no team even at 500. They're all over 500. But the NFC East, the lowest team is the Commanders. 5-5 just popped the Eagles.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's an overreaction. I mean, it may not be them, but it's not an overreaction. Here's the thing for me. Dallas Cowboys have Micah Parsons.
They do.
Best player on the field most weeks.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Minnesota's got Justin Jefferson.
Is he good?
Best player on the field a lot of weeks.
Was that catch good? The one hand with the...
It's the best catch I've ever seen.
You played the position.
It's the best catch I've ever seen because of everything that it embodied.
4th and 18.
Fourth and 18.
Had to have it.
Had to have it.
Yeah.
He goes up at about 11, 12 feet in the air. One hand leans back down.
The defender's got two hands on it.
Brings it down. It doesn't touch the ground.
That's incredible.
And he cuffs it, rolls over, and let's go to the next play.
Can't stop
watching. In the game of the year.
Typically, that ball is going to fall because, one, it was slick up there because it was a little
misty.
Misty. It had some flakes in the air, and he held on to it. You like the misty?
The misty.
Mist in the mist.
The mist.
The mist gets you in Seattle.
Yeah, give him one of those.
It gets you in the mist will get you in Seattle. It'll get you in New England. It typically don't mist in Buffalo because it'll just snow. But that mist will get you in Oregon State. It'll get you.
Got Josh Allen. His turnover problems will keep the Bills out of the Super Bowl. Overreaction, not an overreaction, Dan Graziano.
I mean, it's an overreaction because they're still good enough. Like, all three of their losses are games that one little thing they could win. But he's got to get it figured out, man. I mean, like, this is not okay to be that reckless in these spots. And you get to a point where their record in close games is not a coincidence anymore. But I think you can get this figured out. He's still relatively young. And the good that he brings offsets the bad.
It's not an overreaction, and here's why. If you remember Brett Favre, the same sort of, I got a strong arm, this is my behavior. And you said get it
hero
fixed.
Ball.
Can't get it fixed. You can't. Brett Favre played that way from his days in Atlanta to the end at Minnesota.
Yeah.
He was just double clutch, let it go. And whenever you do that, you now give the defender the opportunity to close in on the receiver. You can't, it's in his brain.
Yeah.
I got a big cannon, nobody can stop me.
Not an overreaction. I kind of feel like Josh Allen deals with a lot of the stress with the volume that Lamar Jackson deals with in a way, because they account for so much of the offense all the time that sometimes when you look at other teams with the way they're packaged, it can relieve the quarterback because you have other people that can take off the
he's
load.
the run game too.
He has to do it all the time. So it means he gets to be perfect essentially to win the biggest games.
It is not an overreaction. I'm not saying it will keep them out, but Key, you say Brett Favre. That's exactly who I was going to talk about. I always thought of Patrick Mahomes as Brett Favre minus the turnovers, right? Yeah. Josh Allen has a maybe even the biggest arm ever. I know you love John Elway's arm, but Josh Allen's in the conversation for biggest arm ever. He's in the conversation, Keith.
Yeah, it's like...
Right.
No, I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah, he's in the conversation. Yeah. He's bigger and stronger, right? Got a huge arm. But he's Brett Favre, can run it better. Yeah. But that same sort of thing that you talked about, Key, he tries to force it a little bit.
All big arm quarterbacks try to force it. That's what
they got the arm.
They got the arm to do.
But he's also got a mentality, right? Because I've talked to Josh over the years about his running and like, do you have to curtail that like for longevity's sake? And his answer is always the same. It's like, no, if that's what we need to do to win the game, I'm going to do it. And that's how he feels about these throws.
He likes to truck guys too.
But the difference with him and some of the other running style quarterbacks, he's built to last. He's like one of those big old trucks.
But he's
built to last.
So was Cam, though.
Well, Cam played 10 years.
Right,
but not 20.
But wouldn't you have liked to see 15? I mean, like, that's the whole point
think
here.
About it. He didn't get hurt running the football, Dan.
No.
He got hurt in the pocket.
Yeah.
That's where most running quarterbacks get hurt.
Yeah.
But maybe it has something to do with the billion times he was tackled in his career, you know?
No, they get rolled up on or something weird happens.
Okay. The Green Bay Packers are still in this thing, Dan. Overreaction or not overreaction?
It's not because of the math, right? Like, they're 4-6. Right now, the 7th place team, the number 7 seed would be the 49ers, who are 5-4. So that's not a big gap, right? And I don't personally, I'm not as high on the 49ers as everyone else seems to be. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if they can actually get the best player at each of the other 21 positions, then they can get Jimmy Garoppolo to the top. But that seems to be what they're trying to do. I'm not sure they're going to get there. Look, I think it's if the Packers win Thursday, right? If they beat Tennessee on Thursday night, now all of a sudden we're having this conversation. Can Aaron Rodgers bring this team back into it? I'm not sure they can, but just because of the way the standings set up right now, you can't put him out of it.
Yeah, I don't think it's an overreaction at all. I look at this team on one game against the Dallas Cowboys, and everything's changed for me because sometimes it just takes that to click. Now, all of a sudden, Kristen Watson looks like he had a few drops in the game, and then for whatever reason, 3 touchdowns later, magic, right?
He's really good.
But he was dropping the ball a lot.
I understood,
now,
and he probably still will.
All of a sudden, he's catching more than he's dropping.
He dropped a couple Sunday, too, a young player.
He dropped a couple, but those touchdowns will give him confidence.
And it adds something to their offense that they didn't have, right? If they want to run the ball, which they do, you got to send somebody down the field to keep the defense honest. He can do that. Nobody else have.
And Lazard gets open. His first catch, he gets open on the slant route.
It may be too late, but you can kind of see how it might start to work.
It might. And the defense played okay. I was encouraged by some confusion that they did to confuse Dak Prescott and company a couple times.
I just don't feel like they're going to be able to pull themselves out of the hole. I don't see them just going on a magical run.
No, it's going to be tough.
Like, I think they put themselves in such a deep hole that even if they drop a couple, like, they're still going to be out of it.
But
by the time it's all said and done.
I think what we think about, though, with them is we're thinking about them winning the division all the time and being so far in front of everybody.
Clawing in.
Just get in.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned San Francisco. I love Seattle.
Yeah.
But that division may come back to San Francisco.
Sure, of course.
Now, all of a sudden.
Right. Packers division is not coming back to them.
No, it's
been
not.
saying it all year. It comes down to the question about the Packers once they lost their 5th straight game comes down to, do you think either the Giants or the Seahawks are going to fold?
Or the Niners.
Or the Niners. But like for people who believe there seems to be a prevailing sentiment that the Niners will get better and better.
But the Giants
now that Jimmy G is the quarterback instead of Trey Lance.
The Giants are 7-2.
That's right. That's right.
Even if they fold, they probably still get in.
So that's the question, though.
Yeah.
That's the question.
So
Do you think they will?
7-2.
No, if they fold, they fold. That means they're going to lose.
I'm trying to think how many games they got left.
If they go,
we're going to week 11, week 12.
Yeah, well, 7-2, 9 games. They got 8 games left.
If they go 2-6 the rest of the way, that's still
8 left.
That's still 9-8. That might get them in.
That's what I'm saying. I was just trying to do the math.
And the
if
NFC,
if they can win 3 games out of the next, you said 8.
Yeah.
So if they win
If they
3
go
out of the
3
next
and 5,
8,
you've seen their schedule.
most